Time to get unscrewed. We do it with Jason Bryant from unscrewed.co.nz. Wine tastings on a Friday morning. Good day there, Jason.
Good morning, Wammo.
And today joined by a special guest in the Kiwi studio, musician Jennifer Z as well. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, lovely to have you in with a new album
Thank
out
you
today.
for having me here right after the release party.
Yeah, last night.
Yeah, last night.
And the album hits the shops today called The Latin Soul.
Exactly.
You're originally from Venezuela.
Yes. That's true.
But you now call New Zealand home.
Exactly. After 4 years of being here, I call this place my home, and I'm totally thrilled about it.
You've been what is the term? Naturalised? Are you naturalised? Yeah.
I hold a Kiwi passport, and I haven't got a current British passport.
Isn't it actually? It's amazing. This right here in the studio right now. It's not the full, complete New Zealand because we don't have anyone representing the Māori culture here. But it shows how New Zealand is diverse and changing.
It's becoming more diverse. I can tell you that in the 4 years that I've been here, I've seen changes in people that were here before. Like, oh, you should have seen this place 10 years ago. It's complete, and it's really fast, and it's going. It
has been really fast.
More people are coming in and integrating, and wow, that's quite something.
I arrived in '98.
Yeah.
Pubs weren't open on a Sunday.
As soon as they were, you were
supermarkets. No, so I really like the concept of having Sunday where there's no commerce at all apart from the dairy store.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
France, in France they do that.
Yeah, and so it's all about the family.
Yeah.
And so you spend quality family time, and we get less consumerism, more family time, more social time, and I think our world would be a better place for it. Anyway, you're the first Venezuelan I've met.
Wow.
Yeah. You don't
nice.
don't meet any.
I hope I caused a good impression then.
Very important.
The first impressions are very important.
Well, you've travelled the world. Why are you calling New Zealand home now? I mean, there's plenty of good places around the world, right?
Wait a second. This was a natural place to, you keep on moving from one side to the other. So you go to left. Oh, we're in Australia. What's the next place? Oh, let's go to New Zealand. So it was wonderful to be here. But actually, I saw like a clip of New Zealand in the movie The Piano in 1996.
Yeah.
I was quite young. And I was blown away. For me, those scenes were completely exotic. I wanted to be at that place. At a certain point, I'd like to think that my subconscious took me somehow to this place. And yes, I lived in many places before coming here. And I would say I prefer this place because it still preserves this kind of wholesome thing. I've got a child, and it's kind of wonderful that I could be like really far away from the child, still looking at him, and know that nothing's going to happen to my child, that she could go running a whole 2 blocks barefoot and she's not going to have like glass on her feet and things like that. And people are so warm. And in the supermarket, go there, hi, good morning. And, and when you come into this country, the guy that's in custom looks at your passport and sees that you're a resident, says, welcome home. That brings tears to my eyes. Like, wow. And the people,
is nice. If you got a foreign passport though, look out.
No, I totally agree with you.
Bridget Customs, eh?
It is a real. You go to Heathrow, right, and you're interrogated, even with a British passport. You go there with a foreign passport, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
There's no friendliness. There's no approachability. Kind of chit chat. It's very kind of dogmatic and automatic. They're almost like robots as you come in, but aggressive.
There's a lot of fear.
You come, I mean, they breed fear.
Yeah.
But
you come here and it's, welcome home.
Apart from everyone being nice, I mean, you're a musician, Jennifer. So, what attracts you about the place when it comes to the music?
Oh well, there's so much diversity and the possibility of being in contact with so many different layers and worlds of the music here, because musicians here, my personal experience is they're quite open, they're very open to integrating, and they're curious about knowing what I bring to the mix and, collaborating. This work of the Latin Soul is a collaboration. I bring in what I know from the Latin music, thanks to the help of Miguel Fuentes, but then I have a producer as Nathan Haynes, who's bringing in his flavor of the New Zealand jazz, and all the New Zealand jazz musicians that are behind this project that bring their flavor to it. You know, if I take taking this album to Latin America, it doesn't sit like a Latin album, because it's got an edge that it's not quite, you know, it's Latin music to the obvious, but in another level, it's got...
you won't be able to hear it, but just listen to a little bit in the background now. It definitely...
Yes, you picked
Latin,
Van. Van is a son cubano. Bass song, and I picked that rhythm for that song to speak to the people that know the bass of Latin. That's the opening song of that album.
Yeah,
it's the inviting, the most on your face Latin thing that you have. The person that did the arrangements for those horns is a Kiwi man. His name is Mike Booth, and he did an amazing job there. The following songs go in deeper into the mix.
Right.
Now, you say, oh, this is Latin to me, because you have your congas and you have your timbales right in front, which is not an accustomed thing in jazz or other types of music where you use the conga, and it's just an adornment to the music. Here, what defines you, that makes you say, hey, this is fully Latin, is because you have these elements in front, but then you have to look at what's going on in the back, with the way the bass is played, the way the piano is played by Kevin Field and Jonathan Crayford, who are great New Zealand musicians. And
you could be speaking about wine.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
The flavor, the back flavor.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the layers, the texture. You got the obvious, and then you have to go deeper.
As always, with this feature, we find that there is this crossover between wine and music. Always seems to happen.
On the Venn diagram, there's music and there's wine, and but there's a big chunk in the middle.
Music wine.
Yeah, muse wine.
Muse wine. Talking about wine, what have you brought in?
Unfortunately, not something probably to complement your jazz, because I know you like Pinot Noir, which is a bit more kind of sultry, a bit more subtle. But we've got something that it's more Argentinian.
What do you have?
So still South American, but it's from New Zealand, but it's Malbec. Malbec is a big grape from Argentina, right? It's one of you have a big kind of 2-kilogram steak, and you have a bottle of Malbec, and there's a lot of kind of synergy there between the two.
Yeah.
So this wine is Merlot Malbec. So that was my kind of link. Tenuous, maybe.
It's a very meaty wine.
Merlot, you get that really plump.
Yeah.
It's Spy
Valley.
Spy Valley. It's from Marlborough, which we wouldn't really expect kind of the kind of Marlborough wines or wineries to be making Merlot Malbec.
Yeah.
Malbec's kind of quite a kind of late ripening, thick-skinned, kind of really dark wine. And see there?
It's got a QR code on the back.
A QR code. We're up with technology. And you see it is really quite dark. Malbec in the southwest of France, Cote to many, is called black wine. And it used to be more expensive than Bordeaux. Bordeaux is the kind of the benchmark these days of kind of wine prices. But it used to be more expensive than the British when they owned Bordeaux, blockaded the Gironde River, stopped all the wine coming up from Cahors and be shipped off around the world. And they sent their own stuff from Bordeaux around to London, obviously in big oak barrels. And that's how Bordeaux became so famous and pricey, because the British owned it. Then when we got kicked out of there, we went to Portugal. And then when we got kicked out of Portugal, we went to the bottom of Spain, Jerez, made sherry.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a continuum. Right? Now we're over here in Australia, we're making wine here.
Yeah.
So we are instrumental in the wine world as POMs, when I own a current British passport, that is.
Yeah.
And so kind of Malbec, getting back to the wine, is coming from Marlborough is very unusual.
Okay.
It's usually, I would expect it to be Hawke's Bay, maybe even Gisborne. So, and Spy Valley, we all know. I was thinking about the protesters and everything like that. That's where the spy base was, but it had the big balloon over the top, and they popped it. So down the Waihope Valley.
Yeah.
So, and they're usually known for their kind of Sauvignon Blanc and their Pinot Noir. So this is a kind of bit left field.
So it's really dark.
Really dark.
Wine in the glass.
It used to be called black wine, Malbec did.
Mm.
And it's quite dark on the nose.
Really dense.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. You get
when
that.
you start to talk about the Bordeaux,
Both of these grape varieties are in Bordeaux, as well as kind of like being wines of their own. So yeah, and you can imagine a big, thick steak, Argentinian kind of steak, sitting on the table, and a glass of this.
I've got a Argentinian steak on the floor in the living room. Well, it's actually
the skin.
The skin, the cow hide.
So you get this kind of, on the palate, you get that cedary, oaky, spicy flavour. Quite thick, really quite rich.
Quite long as well.
Quite long.
Yeah.
Almost quite chewy. So it does have that dense character that you do get from the nose that just runs right away from the nose through to the palate.
It's delicious. What do you think, Jennifer?
It's deep. Yeah, I like.
It's deep. Yeah.
I like when one of the things that I'm sorry, I'm going to say this, of certain wines in Australia, they seem to go pow in your mouth, and then you're like, oh well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like artificial right there.
Because it is artificial.
And then, yeah, that's what it is, right? So
it's like some of our music. just saying. But not all.
What I find in this one is that you've got this after flavor that lasts here.
And it's still going on for me.
Yeah, and it seems aged and it's got like different layers as it dies out in your palate.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good description. And
absolutely.
When you talked about your music, that's what I thought of with wine.
Oh.
And you get that with this wine, fortunately. It would have been a real kind of nightmare if this wine had been really thin and put a beautiful colour and then it just kind of lacked any kind of soul or body. Especially when you were talking about kind of like the depth and layer and texture and everything like that. And then I'm going, yeah, that's wine. And then go, oh, okay, yeah, but not this one.
Yeah.
Well,
Jennifer, the album is out now, and we've been actually playing music from the website jenniferz.com, and that's where people can get a taster of the album, and then get it digitally and also a physical copy as well. And will you be out and about playing?
Yes, well, I'll recover from last night, and our next we've got June the 2nd.
Yeah.
In Ponsonby Social Club.
Nice.
With a smaller version of the band, because last night we had even the back vocal guys doing the charrasca. You know how the full Latin salsa band is. But it's still the same flavor and the same, target and punch.
Yeah.
And after that, it would be Wellington on June the 16th.
Whereabouts?
In Matterhorn.
At the Matterhorn. Brilliant. Go out and see the band. It's bound to be a bunch of fun, and maybe
go get this wine.
Drink
a
glass of Spy Valley.
$20.
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
Get the album, sit down.
Yeah.
At night.
I think it's a good compliment.
Taste it.
So do I.
And take it sip by sip, because that's the way you taste this wine and the way you
listen to your
go
music.
about with this music.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Spy Valley 2010 Malbec.
Merlot Malbec.
Merlot Malbec.
$20. And I say, for me, it's got to be 89 plus points. So really good.
Good. Very good point. Great. Thanks very much to both of you.
Thank you.
Unscrewed.co.nz to view this as a video once more.